Danny.
Howdy.
How are you, my friend?
Hey, Philip.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. We're on land.
Yes, man. I'll tell you. What a trip you just finished up on the American Angler.
I'm telling you, I feel the pain physically these days.
Yeah.
But, in my head, I can still go.
Yeah, why not? Yeah, right? I mean, how was it?
Oh, it was phenomenal.
We'll give the 30,000 and then we'll hone in. Overall, how was it?
Yeah, about a 10, I mean, overall, we had the weather, except for the seventh day, we had a little bit of bump coming uphill. But other than that, it was like grease. Everywhere we put our anchors down, or our fish, we whack fish. But it was just a phenomenal trip.
That's great.
I mean, you just doesn't get any better than that.
Listen, folks, if you're coming to us from some other part of the United States or the world for that matter, you may not know what we're talking about. We're talking about long-range fishing out of San Diego, California, where boats will go from 5 days to 16 days. And we have a fishing competition going on here.
This is number
Ethan.
4?
Yeah, that's 4.
4.
Michael Limon is here also, and Ethan. It's 4-0, Ethan, right now. Michael Limon is getting his clock clean.
Wow.
All right, Ethan, keep them coming. So, long-range trips, they go for as many as 16 days. And I know a lot of people out there are thinking to themselves, 8 days on a boat, 5 days on a boat, 16 days on a boat. What am I going to do for 16 days in a bunk, eating cheeseburgers every day?
Number one, we gain weight. I mean, but it's a phenomenal experience, Phil. I mean, and for me nowadays, eight's just about right. Just physically, I'm really feeling it these days.
Well, you're pulling on so many darn fish and everything else. So
popped 70 years. It's not like it used to be. You don't heal up as you come out of the bunker and you go, I think I need a little more Bengay or Bengay or something. It was just you're a little sore. But yeah, because in your head you think you can pull like you did when you were younger. But physically, So what we try to do is we get more laughs in. We have more, to me, spend the time with the people on the boat, which, I mean, the camaraderie is phenomenal, and, we call it a family trip, and it really is, because for so many years we have a nucleus of people that are coming back year after year,
It's a reunion.
Yeah, and occasionally we get some new guys. The waiting list that Lori has for the American Angler, I'm sure, is substantial. But, I mean, if you even have a thought, an inkling of wanting to go, you might want to put it in now, in the hopes that, somebody may drop out, because you never know. It's, there's weddings, there's this, there's that, guys will miss the trip on occasion. But, for the most part, it's just great because it's like a reunion, going to a reunion every year with all the guys that and there's practical jokes. I mean, there's a lot of laughing, a lot of joking. The food is 5-star, and Javi.
And that's no joke.
That's no joke. I mean, it's been at that level for a long time. And I used to tell my wife, she said, "What do you guys eat?" He says, "We just probably, bread and water is what we survive on." She looks at me, yeah, right. But no, I mean, the platings. There's 3 sit downs, and then there's the snack time in the morning. Appetizer hour, but these things
there's like 5 meals a day.
Oh yeah, but the appetizer thing could be the best part. It could be. I look forward to it because when we do the sashimi, they put out a big spread, like a sushi spread, and it's just fun. It's just fun, and in doing that too, the consumers, a lot of the fishermen that haven't experienced that, they can pick up on that. And they see how it's plated, how Javi and the guys in the galley put that stuff together, and when they get home, they call their relatives, they call their friends. They could start trying that. And that, I remember doing that from day one. And, that becomes a huge, huge deal.
Oh,
socially,
God,
too. The wives encourage the guys, say, hey, go fishing. We got a party coming up, or whatever, But
I'm guessing some of these guys you see only on that trip, right?
We do.
So you kind of, man,
and some of them
Joe Schmo's going to be there. I can't wait to see him.
A lot of them there for over 20 years now. So it's just amazing. Occasionally, a guy would drop off, an emergency or something would happen, and Lori's got a waiting list there at the American Angler, and it substantiates that because of the level of service and the quality of the crew and the whole operation from Brian, Ryan and Ray and Lori and the whole and every one of the crew members. These guys work their behinds off, and my hat's off to them. They're absolutely the best. And almost all those guys down there, they put in so many hours a day, Phil. If you had to pay them on the hourly wage,
Oh my God!
But it comes from their heart, and it shows. And they take the time to help people and teach them, and it's just more than a fishing experience. It's just it's an adventure fishing experience. I mean, it's a life changer.
Yeah,
It really is.
You are watching the Danny Kadota Show live from 22nd Street Landing here in San Pedro. I'm going to get to some of your comments. Hit that like button. Subscribe to the Friedman Adventures YouTube channel. Tick that rotten, filthy, disgusting little bell, and you'll be notified when there is new content. And tonight on Tackle Shop Confessions, we'll be back at 6. Big raffle, reels, gift certificates, and so much more going out. There's the phone numbers. If you want to get in on it here, please reach out to Chuck right now. Please do that. So we're going to talk about this 8-day trip in greater detail. I'm going to ask Danny where he started fishing, what they were catching. Let me read a couple of comments first of all. Some of the guys are saying hello. John Dulay is saying hello, John. Welcome. Thank you for being here. Cat B will just say, hi guys, how's it going? My friends, it's going great, and principally because you're here. John wants to know how the tuna has been biting for the fleet. It's been kind of hit and miss. There's been some really, really good scores, a little bit of daytime fish. We'll get into that in a little more detail. We're going to focus in, John, on this 8-day trip. If you have any questions about 8-day stuff, that'd be great, and we'll focus in, of course, more on your question a little bit later. Kim Herbert, greetings from Missouri, Danny.
Oh, wow, awesome.
My
Thanks for tuning in.
My daughter and I are going to Cedros on the horizon in October. Any specific tackle they should bring? They're going to be fishing yellowtail primarily.
Oh, yeah.
What do you think they should bring, Danny?
You're gonna one of your main outfits on most of those trips is going to be a 40 and 50 pound rod. But you do want to diversify. You want to have it spread out. If they get touchy, you go offshore. You probably want a 25. It depends what your budget affords and everything else, but I take everything. I take the kitchen sink, but we are going for 8 days, and you can't go back and get another rod. So we go down prepared with jig sticks, 100-pound rods for when we get into the bigger tuna and things like that.
Yeah.
But so we go the span. We pretty much have every line class covered from like 25 pound on up. 25, 30, 40, 50, 60, 80, and 100, and it covers you for everything. Well, this is on an 8-day, but the diversity of fishing mandates that because you don't know what you're going to get. You have no idea. You could pull up on a school of big bluefin or something that are 200 pounds, and you can fish yellowtail, but wahoo. You have to be able to take your outfits and utilize them for a specific fishing, depending on the region you're going to.
Yeah.
And they'll give you a heads up. I mean, you talk to Lori and Sam and Ray, Lori and Ray and Brian, excuse me, and they will give you a heads up on what you're going to need for your particular trip. And just do what they tell you. If you don't have that outfit, they have rentals available there, so you don't have to buy it. You could rent it down there and utilize it for that trip. But you do want to have, it's like anything in an arsenal, right? If you're missing that one tool, and they get to the point where sometimes they'll just bite a certain line, they won't bite above it or below it, and well, not below it, but above it, and you have to have that to get the bite. So you do have to go down prepared. So the guys that go down prepared, obviously your odds and your percentages and your catch rate generally is higher, but it's like anything we do that we've learned from the time we're little kids. Do your homework. They will tell you everything that you need. You can talk to Lori. She's on top of everything. If you have special needs for food or for whatever it might be for your dietary things, but tackle, she'll tell you they're on the phone with Ray and Brian and all the captains daily or nightly or maybe even more so they know exactly what goes on, and they'll convey that to you as far as keep posted with the trip that you're on and the destination you're going to, and they will dial you in with the tackle that you need, because you do not want to go down to hunt elephants with a 22.
That's for sure.
You have to have the span of tackle to cover all the different species that you're fishing. So it's important to stay in touch with them, and you can't beat, their customer service and, the amount of information that goes over to you. So take advantage of that.
I hear the Monte Carlo backing in as we speak. Bass fishing here in Southern California has been absolutely off the hook. Best we've seen it in decades. Niels Daniel says, is there a way to share this? Niels, if you look over to the thumbs up button, there's a thumbs up button just right over to the right of it. It says share. Just click in there and you'll be able to share this episode right now or later on. Hey, look who's here with us. Your saltwater guide. That is none other than Dave Hansen. Dave, it's great to see you. Says good afternoon to you.
Hey, Dave,
good afternoon. Dave, check out Your Saltwater Guide. Please, Dave does such a great job in the industry fighting for fishermen's rights and providing great content every single day. Dave, thank you so much for joining us. Back to Kim Herbert. They're on the trip where it's going to be the mothership trip, and they offload their people on Pongas there at Cedros on the horizon.
Cool.
So that should be fun. And, that trip has some advantages. Your travels down there, who knows what you're going to bump into maybe. Probably on some kind of a schedule, but you may have some time. And then bringing fish back when you fly into the island, you can only bring like 50 pounds. If you're on the bigger boat, the Horizon in this case, you can bring back quite a bit of yellowtail, I would
absolutely.
think. One thing about Cedros, Danny, this year, the yellowtail fishing has been down a little. It's still really, really good. I mean, by Cedros standards, but lots of sea bass, lots of halibut. It's been incredible. There's something going on, man. What is going on? We're getting all this chovy.
I have no
The bass bite. The Endeavor yesterday, Daniel Hottaway ran the boat, 100 halibut.
Oh.
100
I've been
halibut up there out of Ventura.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah, there's absolutely something going on.
Well, the sea bass is off the hook. I don't know that we've ever seen numbers like this, in a long, long time. So, I mean, it doesn't seem like it matters where you go, north, south. You just got to go, take your pick. Talk, do your homework, listen to the shows, find out, what's going on in specific regions. But I don't think you could hardly lose.
No, I agree. I agree 100%. Let's see, where are we now? Did I skip over somebody here? I skipped over Eric Sanchez. What size rod should I pair a Shimano Speedmaster size 10 with? Are you up on that? That's a good question.
I used to be.
Yeah.
I used to be.
Eric, that's a really good question at 6 o'clock on Tackle Shop Confession.
There you go.
Sam De La Torre will have that answer for you. That's a great question for Tackle Shop Confessions. That is for sure. No thumbs up on my phone. Oh, there should be. I don't know what to tell you, Niels. There should be a way to share it. I'm not sure why you don't have a thumbs up. A like button, Most everybody can like the video. And you should be able to do that on your phone. I do it all the time.
Phil, with him on the question of the reel, too, what you need to do is call the landing, talk to the guys on the boats or the landing, and find out. Because one outfit isn't going to do it. You're going to have probably a little bit of spread from a light, a medium, to a heavy, to pretty much basically cover your arsenal.
Yeah.
Because you don't know that you get them touching, you may only get them on 15 or 20, the medium stuff, the 25, 30s, and then if they really chew, you may want 50, 60, you want something heavier, and we have to have 100-pound outfits when we go down, because you don't know what you're going to come across.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. All right, let's see. John Dulay says, any reports on the Condor from Fisherman's Landing? I understand there's some problems with the boat, John. We'll try to delve into that for you a little bit later. Dave Hansen. Oh, shoot, Dave. I thought you were just saying hi. We're promoting here. Dave's going to be live tomorrow at 12 o'clock Pacific Standard Time in the wheelhouse. We've got a fish that we got to show you. How many is that now?
I think that's a
5 or 6?
5.
5 or 6 to 0. He
Wow.
is just kicking Michael Limons. But Dave Hansen tomorrow will be in the wheelhouse on the Royal Star with Captain Roy Rose, Captain Tim Ekstrom, and Captain Duke Ekstrom live from Alejos Rock. So tune in to your saltwater guide tomorrow. Jeff Lingle, who's a fantastic source for us here at Friedman Adventures. Jeff is out on a yacht. Jeff takes clients that all have security clearances.
Oh, cool.
So he can't, there's no photos or any of that. He's a great guy. He grew up calling 976 Tuna
Oh,
and
wow.
listening to
That's
me,
awesome.
so he needs psychological help. That's for sure. Jeff, it's great to have you with us, my friend. Always good to have you with us. All right, so you leave on an 8-day trip. Let's just talk about this trip. How many days or how much time did you travel until you got to your first
It
fishing
took
ground?
2 days to get down there.
Okay.
But we got down there and we were greeted with all that, I would say 40 to 75, 80 pound yellowfin. It was just excellent fishing.
Really?
Excellent fishing. And then a mix of yellowtail, nicer yellowtail and everything. And it's funny you mentioned the rocks because after a couple of days after we did some damage to the wells, we shut out the Lejos.
Yeah.
And it's a good run. It's a long run, but we went out there and you just don't know what happened. There was a yacht that was sitting on it. We hooked a few. I hooked something that just walked off, and so there's some decent fish there. Obviously, I don't know. Could have been a big yellowfin, It stayed up high, so I don't think it was a yellow. But you just never know. And then we moved off Alejos proper and fished some of the the high spots and rocks, and we hooked some fish out there. But it wasn't kicking out like when we go into spots and they're ready to go.
Yeah.
It's just you're umbrellaed.
Yeah.
The whole boat just gets bent.
Yeah.
So we ran back to the inside, and we were fishing the banks inside, and it was just excellent fishing. We'd get our yellowtail done, the yellowfin done, and then after that it was just having fun.
Yeah.
Goofing
yeah.
around, it was great.
What size yellowfin tuna were you guys catching?
They were nice. A lot of them, I would say from the 40s to about 80s, so nice chunks. Nice chunks. These beautiful, beautiful yellowfin,
And fly line on the iron,
Fly line.
popper
fly line
fish.
baits.
I'm guessing they eat
Yeah,
everything. Huh?
Yeah, but fly line is, it's like anything. A fly line, fly line Dean was killing them, and fishing anywhere from 50, 60 pound.
And so were you guys were you anchored? No.
No,
You're
we're drifting.
racing around.
Moving around. There's so many spots.
Bird schools
There's
of
a lot of
fish
spots.
and-
And the beauty was, we were basically the only boat down there. So, a lot of the stuff was untouched. There weren't too many. You didn't see any sore mouths. Where
Yeah.
guys have been there and hooked. And you see that occasionally when you're out at the rocks and places where they're fished heavy. But no, it was clean and there was so many spots up. It was ridiculous. And we were the only ones there for the most part. So when you have all those spots to yourself, you can amass, a pretty good fish count real quick. Which we did. So. We had a blast, and we just kind of backed off and just had fun.
It
a lot of
was-
laughing and joking, which is part of the trip. I
Yeah.
mean, that's the best
Well,
part.
are you
know,
kidding?
just
Yeah,
camaraderie.
right.
Yeah,
You're
'cause
supposed to be having a good time.
Yeah, and a lot of them are the same guys we see every year, so it's a reunion. So there's a lot of joking around with each other and stuff. So nothing's better than that.
And the American Angler and her crew.
Oh, these guys. You know what? I'm very prejudiced about it, but I'm going to tell you they're the best. And the guys that fish with me on my boats know my standards, so you could take it from there. On that. But they go through, and the kids, every one of the crew members is very attentive. They're on the ball. The young kids that, for instance, Julian, one of the young kids that came off my brother's boat. So I know that he had training from Paul, my brother, and those guys before they brought him up.
Yeah.
And he was just fit in like perfect.
Yeah.
So but they're all seasoned guys, and you can't be that because they're fast, they're courteous, they're very professional, and it just doesn't get any better. It really doesn't. But the fleet in general at that level,
Yes.
it's all very competitive.
Yes.
Very, pretty much, you know.
It's unbelievable the
Yeah.
job that
Yeah,
they do.
absolutely.
And under, I would say, trying circumstances, like
Oh.
working 24 hours a
Oh,
day and
Phil.
turning around and turning and burning.
It brings back nightmares for me. Like loss of sleep. But you know, but you guys have to understand, these guys do. You can't pay a guy that kind of money to work those hours.
No.
It's got to come from their heart, and you'll find that that's what it is. You know, and that's what makes it a blessing. So you know, the other thing, we make sure that we really take care of the crew because, you know, they're working a lot of times a 20-hour day. And that sleep is not consecutive; it's broken up. So you know, and of course we went through that back in the day too, but we do it because we're passionate about it.
Yeah.
You know, and we're there to teach them. And when these kids get to this particular level, at the long range level, they're already in that echelon. You know, they've gone through, you know, the early days of pinheading, and they've gone up the chain and they've escalated. Now they're the cream of the crop. You know, and they've earned that right through hard work.
Yeah, but
and their experience. You know,
you are so right about one thing. You can't do that job unless you love it. You can't. You'll quit.
You can't view it as a job.
Right.
You know, you got to be passionate about it, and when you got that fishing, you know, the fishing passion, like I always had, it wasn't work. And the other thing is, when you're at that level, you don't settle for anything. You're driving. It doesn't matter whether it's learning a knot and playing with all the knots till you got the very best knot, and you keep from that point. Even then you keep trying to make a stronger and better knot. You know, but I mean every facet of your fishing hits a different level, completely different level when you get to that, and that's what makes it fun too. You know, and you share it with the guys on the boat, and the camaraderie on the boat is always phenomenal. So
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, the joking,
Yeah.
the flying around, you know,
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, and that's part of it.
The good
amount of laughs-
food.
Oh, the food, it's beyond what you would ever expect. It's just 5-star all the way, you know.
So day one, yellowfin tuna, and then just one day of
We
that?
did-
You were full. I mean, you were done, right?
We did some damage,
Yeah.
so you know, and that so we.
If you wanted a limit, you had it,
Yeah.
probably, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So we shot out to the rocks.
Yeah.
Because you know what it takes is when you don't have a lot of boats down there. You know, we did a lot of coverage, and we're doing it just for ourselves. We're doing it for the long range fleet. You know, keeping those guys abreast of what's going on. And so, you know, by going out to the rocks, seeing tougher conditions, and not seeing the fish that we expected. A lot of times you put the anchor down, same deal. 8 hours later, you're kicking it back for the inside because you're jugged.
Yeah.
You know, but it wasn't. It was tough. So we shot back in and did a number, you know, the yellowtail, and we proceeded to, you know, fill the wells and have a great time toward the beach. But, you know, we did a lot of running, and that running is saving a lot of the other boats, you know, time to go investigate this spot, this spot. Now they know that we've got them at this particular bank, this particular spot, and that's passed along through those guys that are down there. You know,
Yeah.
It's not shared with, you know, it's within the groups that are going down there. It's not put openly out.
Yeah.
Which you gotta, you know, we all understand. So having the coverage down there from those boats is tremendous. But, you know, having the talent, you know, with the crew, you know, captains and the crews down there, and then along with the corresponding charters, the groups for fishermen, that elevates it too. When you have good fishermen, I knew when I had my hot dogs on the boat, they would make me, you know, they'd highline it and make me look good.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, between your crew and, you know, your electronics and everything's, you know, it's got to be dialed in. You know,
Yep.
because yeah, we're not there to compete. We're there to kick butt.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I mean, it's in our heads, and that's what makes it fun. It's very competitive.
And people should know, Danny, that this trip and many of these trips like this, they're sold out for next year. The day you hit the docks after this trip, right?
I don't even know. It's funny because Mike asked that.
Yeah, Mike,
And
the
and he
cranker's
says,
trying to get on.
I think there's already a waiting list for next
Yeah.
year. So if you guys want to get on the American Angler, but you know, there's so many of the boats that have that level. Their level. I'm just, you know,
Well, you get in on a boat, you get real comfortable. They do it right, and I'm the same way with the independents.
Oh,
I'm
absolutely.
but that's not to say that the American angler is equal, or they're all really, really great.
Yeah,
They're
yeah,
fantastic.
yeah.
But I'm comfortable there. You're comfortable on the angler.
Well,
that's the way it is.
Brian Kilhurry, one of the owners, and I think he's the main owner, and Lori, well, Brian was one of my last pinheads. So I owe a loyalty for him going through our system.
Sure.
Pinhead on the Cherokee
Sure.
Geisha to working on the Mustang with me, whatever, And then he took it way past where I was, And he would ask me, Danny, what do you think about this? This is Brian. You sell this equipment in here? None of this existed. You know more than I ever knew, So don't ask me. In fact, he was putting too much pressure on himself. And I would say, hey, let Ray run the boat. And I still feel that way. You bring the guys up to the ranks, and they've all hit that level. Ray's at that level. I mean, they're all like that. And it perpetuates itself through the crew. It's like anything. When you have good habits, folks, and you follow those habits and procedures, you won't have any problems.
That's 100% right.
Safety, you name it, everything, But cleanliness, you go over every little aspect that you can nitpick on a boat, and they check them all off. The heads are all clean, the showers are clean. There's always things that happen where they have to do repairs on the boat because you're running around the clock for how many days in a row, But they have that capacity and the ability to do those repairs like it's nothing. So you just, it's ongoing.
Yep, 100%.
It never stops. It never stops.
I'm going to go back to a couple more comments. Back to my buddy Dave Hansen, your saltwater fishing guy. Dave Hansen said he grew up listening to yours truly on 976 Tuna, and it really helped the industry. Dave, love you, man. And now we get to listen to you on your saltwater fishing guide. Highly recommend you give Dave a listen. Zato, 1955. Good afternoon, Phil and Danny. The tuna was excellent. Thank you, Danny. You know who that is?
Yeah, Yatomi.
Oh, it is?
That's Steve Yatomi. Guys, if you ever want to do any international fishing, Steve Yatomi has done it all. And he started out, he fished with me on the Mustang and his brother, and we pretty much grew up together. But then he was one of the guys that trailblazed a lot of the international fishing, all over the world, whether it was in the Amazon or Papua New Guinea or wherever it might be. He blazed it. And I'm going to tell you the story. This is how it started. He used to fish on the Royal a lot, right?
Yeah.
And the year that they shut down the Revilla Hejeros, Steve asked me, he said, what would you do for the same amount of money, And I said, I've been reading these magazines about these peacock bass in Venezuela. So he went down there. And it was...
Based on you saying that?
Yeah, he went down there.
Good for you, Steve.
And he blazed it. He slept in a lean-to tent, ate Vienna sausages out of cans, got chewed up by bugs. But in doing all that, what came out of this is he's got a travel service that he gives you a list of things to do, preparation, this and that, so you don't get chewed up with bugs. He's arranges for lodging in the heart of the Amazon.
And really exotic,
and it's all dialed
Amazon.
in. Your food is phenomenal. It's not like he doesn't eat his Vienna sausages out of cans. Food's phenomenal. You have this experience with the natives. It's just unbelievable. And I don't know anybody that's got any. I think it was Larry. He traveled with Larry Dahlberg. Hunt for Big Fish. So,
right.
He got that morphed, and then he took it on his own and did a lot of different things that I'm sure Larry hasn't even done. But at that particular level, which is elevated above everybody else that I know anywhere in the world, it's phenomenal. So the knowledge, and I fish the Bay of LA with him, but we go down and have fun. But the amount of...
He does Southeast Asia too, doesn't he? Doesn't he do Thailand? And
I think he's going to Papua New Guinea for those New Guinea bass.
That's fantastic.
But everywhere around the world, Russia, you name it. So he's my source when it comes to, picking an exotic.
I don't
went to
blame you.
Guyana.
What's the name of his company?
Adventure Travel Alliance, I think it is. Right?
Adventure Travel Alliance. There you are. If we're wrong, Steve, let us know. But Adventure Travel Alliance.
You know how I forget things now, Steve.
Yeah, me too. I'm right there with him. Google that, and I'll tell you, you will not go wrong joining Steve on the trip. Nathan Rodriguez. Hey, Nathan, good to see you. How's it going, Phil? My name's Nate. Hey, Nate, good to have you with us. Welcome, my friend. I'm going on a day-and-a-half trip on the Thunderbird Tuesday and wanted to give you a report how it went for your morning briefing. I would love that, Nate. So, and Niels, I can see that maybe you're having still trouble sharing. I'm going to give you my number. Text me. I won't be able to get back to you guys till tomorrow. We're doing live shows, have a big raffle tonight also. I'll give you that. And Nate, just send me photos and a synopsis of your trip. I want to get you on the morning briefing for sure. 657-227-6459. Send me that, Nate, and I wish you a really great trip. I hope you get as big a yellow as Michael Limon caught. He had a 40-pounder.
Unbelievable.
On the Freedom. So we're very proud of him, and I appreciate you reaching out that way. That means the world does. And Nils, I'll help you on your phone. I'll teach you how to share these things, and it's me who should be thanking you, and I am doing that for sure. Nathan Rodriguez, do you know anybody going on the day-and-a-half trip on the Thunderbird? Maybe somebody will chime in here and let us know. Let's see, David Petroy. David, good to have you with us, man. Haven't seen you for a while. Hello, Phil and Danny. An idea for the show. I'm all ears, man. You should have a nostalgia fishing show where the audience sends in old fish pics with a story behind the fish. That's a great idea.
An excellent idea.
What do you think, David, about inviting people to come down, and then one by one they come up, show their photo to Danny, and then talk about that? Yeah, I think you're onto something there. Now, David, you have some homework here. Don't let Danny and I forget this, because we're just going 100 miles an hour the rest of the day. I think that is such a great idea for a show. Way to go, man. Really, really appreciate that. Tesla Work says, saludos. Yo soy la Baja Fishing Club. Welcome, my friend. It is so great to have you with us. Gracias por estar aquí con el gringo y con este gringo también. Really appreciate it, my friend. Thank you so much. Espero verte muy pronto. Saludos, Phil. Just back from San Felipe, my namesake. Tocayo, right? San Felipe. Have you been down there for a while?
A couple weeks ago, matter of fact.
You were in San Felipe?
Oh, we went through San Felipe.
Oh,
well,
sure, yeah, on your way down to Bay of LA.
Yeah, Bay of LA.
Yeah, that's
our breakfast stop.
I love San Felipe.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, it's all beautiful down there.
You ever eat Chinese food in Mexicali?
No, I haven't.
You know, they have more Chinese restaurants.
I've heard about that.
Yeah.
We're going to have to do that. Hey, you told me, put that on the agenda next year.
Chinese food in Mexicali with the canchonillas. Yeah, man, it's good there. They have some really outstanding Chinese food.
Oh, that's awesome.
Some of the best Chinese food I had, I moved to Costa Rica when I was doing the missionary work with the Catholic Church. Oh, my God.
Oh,
they had
awesome.
some great Chinese restaurants.
That's cool.
Danny, they had this one dish. It was a place called Numero Uno. This doesn't even sound like Chinese food, but it was at a Chinese restaurant. And they had this fried chicken that in the batter, they had shrimp. So you had the chicken covered in this batter with all this shrimp, and then kind of like a Chinese sauce all over it with the vegetables. Oh my God, I could die for that.
Oh, wow.
Anytime Father Ignatius wanted to drive down toward the Panamanian border and do that, I was there to go along with him, let me tell you. That was great stuff.
That sounds good.
Hunt Conrad, 46040. You know
I
him? He says, hi,
yes,
Danny.
I fished with Hunt. Yeah,
Oh,
sure.
well, there you are. Was he on this trip?
No, not on this trip, but he's over the years.
A couple times.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hunt Conrad, the cranker says hi to you also.
Yes. Yeah. Yep. He's been on.
Hey, Danny missed the trip this year. Loved that trip. Sounds like you nailed it. The American Angler is awesome. Going on an 8-day in October. I'll be out in November, so we'll be bumping around near that time, Hunt, for sure.
Cool.
Did Kramer behave himself on the trip?
Never. But that's Kramer. You know what? We have so much fun. He's a school teacher, and he and John Art both brought their sons So that, we had both, both these guys that are regulars bring their sons, and that was awesome too. And you think about that where these guys can share their staterooms.
Let's see it. Hold it up there.
What?
Beautiful.
Now, Michael hasn't been big yet.
Mike, what's going on? You're kicking Michael's butt.
He hasn't really been fishing.
Is it 7-0?
Yeah.
Well, I guess Michael didn't hear about the $100 prize, huh? Are you coming up with $100? Or I don't have it.
We'll find something.
Sounds good for the TV show.
Yeah.
Sorry, kid. Nobody's got $100 around here. Hey, Hunt, thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate it. So the yellowtail fishing out there at the rocks wasn't wide open, but
no.
still good enough, right?
You know what? It was pretty slow. We did very, very little out there. So we later in the afternoon we just kicked it for the inside again. So working the banks, and we made our trip on the inside pretty much too.
Okay.
So that was it was great. It was great because we ended up a lot of spots of fish. Not all of them were going off, but enough to scratch out more than limits. I'm sure it was just good fishing.
And did you guys fish the beach at all? Like
Not
on
that-
the way up?
Not
did you?
that close. No.
No.
we
You didn't
have
fish
to.
sand bass, calico bass?
No, we did.
Some of the guys have been
Yeah.
doing that recently.
Yeah. No, the fishing was good up. The Outer Banks. And
Yeah.
stuff. And we were pretty far down. But there's plenty of fish. Didn't have the coverage. It's nice when you have a couple boats, a guy out on the rocks, a guy on the inside, so you don't have to make those blind runs.
You just got off the native son.
Nate! Come on. Oh, Jazzy! Come on in here a second, man. Can we get
You
Jazzy
guys
in here?
whack 'em?
Right over here, Jazzy. Oh, darn it. You're on the show now, Jazzy.
How you doing, Phil?
Don't say anything crazy, man. Give me a hug, man. Good to see you. It's been way too long.
It's been a hot minute.
Can you give us
good,
an
man.
update on Danny's show? How was fishing?
Okay, how you doing?
How's it going?
Yeah, do you guys? I didn't know if you guys
Yeah,
knew
no,
each other or
no.
not.
No, I haven't met Danny.
All right. Well, how was it?
down?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
We did good today. We had a lot of sculpin
Yeah,
fishing out by the 150.
yeah.
Oh, you got to come in.
You're not on
Jazzy.
camera. Get over here next
Come
to
on
me.
in. Come on in.
We want your face on
Oh,
camera.
yeah, okay. I don't want to scare
It gets rid of
anybody.
my ugly face.
Yeah,
I'm just
guys.
going to hold this so people can hear you.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Jazzy here, and we fished on the native sun. Me and my buddy Manny caught lots of sculpin and the sand bass. It was a slow pick, but we did good. They were down deep. The water was about 59, but they bit today.
Oh,
I was
good.
throwing the Colt Sniper, and I nailed 5 on the Colt Sniper.
Darn.
Yes, I'm a jig thrower.
Yeah. Legal fish, all 5?
All 5.
Nice.
Darn.
So we did good
Nice.
today. It was good.
But it sounds like water temperatures dropped, huh? It's 59's cold.
Yeah, 59 is a little chilly, but we still did good.
Yeah. Yeah, good to hear that, man.
Tomorrow.
And who was the deckhand out there? Was it Brian?
Manny was out there, and Brian from the Monte Carlo?
Yeah.
No, he wasn't out there on the native sun today.
Oh, you're on the Native Sun. I'm sorry. Yeah. Good. They've been on a roll on the Native Sun, both daytime and their twilight fishing.
Right, that's right.
Well, shoot, Jazzy, I haven't seen you for a long time, man.
You know when I had a big Michael Jackson afro, but now my hair is all gone, but
Hey,
I'm still okay.
We're twins, man. Let's
Oh,
see
yeah.
it. Yeah.
I'm a shining star.
I like it.
No matter who you are. Okay.
I'll tell you, if you want to hear my Michael Jackson story?
go ahead.
I took my kids to a Three Stooges. They had these guys that look like the Three Stooges, whatever you call it, look alike, and it was a huge thing. And a limo pulls up. It's freaking Michael Jackson, who apparently was a huge Three Stooges fan. Yeah, so my kids not only got to meet Larry, Moe, and Curly, but they got to meet Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson.
Right.
He's the king of pop.
Yeah,
it.
you got it. Jazzy, good to see you, my friend.
Danny, you
All
guys
right,
take
Jazz.
care.
Take care of you too,
And
bud.
tight lines, keep rocking the rail.
There you
All
go.
right,
There you go.
Jazzy, everybody.
That's where it's at,
Dan, thanks for arranging that. Who needs the dog when we've got our new executive producer? Man, I'm telling you right now. What do we got?
Michael!
Limone's
He's
trying
on
to
the
come back.
scoreboard.
Here he is. Michael, whoa!
Fumble.
We got a smelt on the carpeting in here now.
Smelt down.
All right, Michael, let's see it. Come on. Hang on, everybody. Don't go anywhere. It is now 7-1. Come on, Michael, make a comeback. He's throwing that smell all over the studio here. Man, we got all kinds of stuff going on. Man, if the dog is watching, Anthony was doing so much here, but we got a new executive producer out here. Not only is he running the camera, he's running out and getting guests and bringing them in. Dan, I'm going to get you an extra chicken wing tonight. That means one. Yeah. There you go, man. After Tackle Shop Confessions, big raffle tonight, 2 beautiful reels, gift certificates. Send Chuck whatever it is you send him a text, and he'll get you all tuned up. Man, the latest fishing information and a contest between 2 kids.
Right off the boat.
I'm telling you.
Beautiful.
John Dule wants to know, Danny, have you ever used or heard of the anaconda knot?
No, I never have.
I heard it's a snake of a knot. I couldn't come up with a better one. He says you should take a look at that on a video. We'll do that, John. Tommy Tarr back from Ireland. And he is a great guy. Charlie, love you very much. Charlie, I have some really bad news. We don't know where the Scott Buchert head is. Tommy Tarr is the man who supplied us with the Scott Buchert head. We're going to have to go, and I don't know what we're going to do.
Did we look in the bathroom?
I'm suicidal, yeah. So if it were in the bathroom, somebody would have flushed it by now. He wants to know what the best practical joke you saw on a fishing trip. What's the best practical joke? Or one of the good ones?
Hold on, let me think.
Yeah, I know, it's hard.
Well, let's go on. It'll come up. I'm usually there's been some good ones.
Man, he'll think of one.
Yeah.
I put squid on people. When they fall asleep, I put them so they bite them, with their beak. Of course, one that I pulled on a guy, I put a mackerel in his tackle box.
Oh, my God.
And I put it down below, and he didn't notice it, and they literally cleaned out their whole house. His sister's going, what on earth is, something died in here, must be a dead animal or something. They emptied their whole house until they figured out it was in the tackle box as mackerel. By that time, I didn't want to admit to it,
I got one, Phil, and this one was pretty epic, and it's documented and the whole deal, okay? So this is 1984, and we had phenomenal albacore fishing in 84, 85, right? But it happened to we just got down to San Diego, things were a little slow. We had just started running. I had the lease on Islandia, so I had the fortune. We were all over at Islandia. And so it was tough fishing. So my group came down, and we used to joke around with a bunch of the guys. There's a famous long-range guy that you know. You remember Jimmy Lou?
Of course.
Okay.
I saw Jimmy here maybe a year ago.
Master Lou. Okay?
Yeah.
So anyway,
a guy that's not all that big that can really pull on
maybe
fish.
110 pounds.
Maybe.
Was getting the 300 pounders on a single speed.
Yeah.
He's to this day, he's probably still one of the most phenomenal fishermen to have that physique and to pull on fish like he did. And he was getting the cows and stuff. So anyway, we used to joke around a lot. And being bass fishermen, if you caught a catfish, it was taboo, right? So anyway, it's so slow down in San Diego, and this is when I was at Islandia. We had the lease at Islandia too, and these guys, that group came down, and they said, "Hey, let's go out to Islandia Hyatt. We're gonna have dinner." Normally I wouldn't do that, but it was so slow at that particular time. I said, "Yeah, fine. There's nothing going on, so let's go." So we go out, have dinner, come back. The boat is decorated across the stern where it said a Mustang. It said "Catfish Special." They had all these catfish flags hanging from the gaffs on the bait tank and everything else. Now I walk up into the warehouse, and here's this gift wrap box, about so big, and it's got a huge catfish in it. And because we joked about that, especially when we were bass fishing, the guys that got the catfish, right? So anyway, we're clowning around the whole time. Finally, we leave the dock, and it's dead. We're trolling out there the next morning, and there's nothing on the scoreboard, right? I mean, it's just the whole fleet's right there, and it's just brutal.
You're albacore fishing?
Albacore fishing. Guys are asleep in the galley. The rest of the guys went down to the bunk room. Well, Jimmy Lou was trolling. Back then, he was the only guy that had a gold reel. So his outfit was hanging up on one of the corners, and he was asleep in the galley. So I look at I think it was Marty Tanaka, Taka's oldest son, and he was one of my captains. And I just nodded. He grabs the catfish out of this gift wrap box, takes it down. They hook it up on the trolling line on Jimmy Lou's International. They throw it out. put the clicker on it, hook up. Boy, everybody goes flying up. We had guys coming out of the bunk room in their socks and barefooted, and Jimmy comes out and he's whining. He's going, what?
Feels like dead weight.
Yeah.
What is it?
So he finally gets it in, and we used to clown around a lot. Okay, but this one was pretty epic. So he finally gets this thing wound in. We're joking and messing around, killing time because, like I said, there was absolutely nothing going on in the fleet. And so finally, after about 15 minutes, like, all right, let's go. Wind them up. Let's go. Let's get going, guys. So we fire up. I fire it up, and I just put it in gear, and I hear hookup. I go, well, the guys are still goofing around back
With
there.
that dumb
So
catfish,
I pull
right?
it back. I pull the throttles back, and I look back on the Mustang. I have a stairway, and I can look back out through the galley windows, and I see a single Dorado chump. I go, oh my God, a legitimate fish! Stop the boat. Stop. I shut the engines down. By the time I was walking through the galley, we were umbrellaed.
Really?
We were umbrellaed. I had this.
With
is
Dorado or albacore?
No,
or-
albacore.
Oh, shoot.
And this was not an ordinary group. I think it was, we had Yo's guys. So we had a tremendous group of fishermen on board, right? And like I said, it went off. We ended up with a third of the entire San Diego count that day off that.
Really?
Well, I had the right talent.
I think I'd bring a catfish with me every time I
Yeah,
went.
we should have.
Yeah.
But that was all on a joke, and it's just, we called it Jimmy Lou's famous catfish stop. I have the picture, so I have to bring that in because it's all documented. It's unbelievable.
That is
Yeah.
great stuff.
So you never know what's going to happen. And this came around from, typically fishing guys just playing jokes on each other and having fun. But they turned that in by luck. I mean, to a huge score. And it was unbelievable. So you never know. You never know.
Jeff Lingle says he likes filling boots with water and then freezing them. That's an old one.
That one.
That's
on.
a good one too.
All those things went on.
Oh my God! This isn't actually a practical joke, but when we ran a little commercial boat, the Thunderfish,
Yep.
I would be on the wheel. We'd have an alarm clock, just a dumb wind-up alarm clock,
Yeah.
and you'd put it, and you'd be on the wheel for 4 hours. And so I'd look at that clock, and I'd be going, "I'm so freaking tired," and I go, "Man, they're not gonna know."
So
Move it up
wind
like
it
an
up.
hour, and I go, "Hey, Paul, it's midnight. It's
You're
your
on."
turn." He's like, "What? I feel like I only slept 2 hours." It was like, it was like 10 a.m. before the sun ever came up because we
God.
advanced the clock on one another so much. Man,
All the stories that went on the boats. Phil.
yeah.
If they only knew.
I know, man. Yeah, really. Kyle is with us. I love those trips that have non-stop shenanigans, says Kyle.
That's that's part of fishing too. I mean, you think about these stories like we could tell it now, and it just brings back memories. And for the 30 guys or 20-something guys that were on the boat that day, well, probably 30, including my crew. But to have basically a third of the entire San Diego count between Point Loma, Fisherman's, and H&M, and Islandia and Seaforth. Well, Seaforth didn't even have boats going out back in those days. Was pretty amazing.
Yeah.
And it came through a practical joke. So, we could document. I have all the pictures. So I'll have to bring that in so you can see it. I have all the photographs from that particular stuff.
Leroy, who decked on the Searcher, what's his
Sure.
name? Leroy.
Shikaku.
Yeah.
Scotty's.
Great,
Scotty's
yes,
husbands,
great guy. Leroy, I remember him cutting my jig, or winding off about 20 feet of line, cutting it, winding it back on. So when I fired my jig, you just watch your jig keep going,
And watch your reel go,
What happened?
woof!
Yeah,
The big fluffy.
yeah.
Yeah, we did that.
He used to convince me, and he was right. He'd say, "We're driving by a kelp, and we're going home, and we're late. Got to get back." And he'd just say, "Make a cast on that kelp." And I go, "Yeah. Well, what's going to happen when I hook a fish?" And he goes, "Well, we're not stopping, but it's going to be really cool. It's going to be really bitching, And yeah, man, he had me doing that all the time. It was fun too.
When we cut somebody's jig like that, we'd always, the minute he cast, we'd all go like this. Like.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. And then the guy knew you were
he
all
knew he
in on
got
it.
him, yeah.
Yeah. Kim Herbert, I've done this one quite a few times. It's pretty bad too. 5-gallon bucket on the trolling rod with the boat idling in gear.
There you
That's
go.
a hell of a fight,
Yeah.
let me tell you.
Yeah.
And people, especially novice people, but they're like, man, it's pulling line.
They'll fall for it. Yeah. We get some live ones every now and then.
Yeah. Hey, I can't believe we're out of time here, Danny. We've zoomed through an hour.
Holy smokes! It's more a comedy show than anything, huh?
Any comments on the 8-day trip to summarize what a great trip it was?
You guys just got to get down there. There's a lot of fish on its way up.
American angler, by the way.
Yeah.
There is a
Yeah.
lot of fish on their way up.
You know, I'm sure. You know,
Come on, put these people at ease here.
be
A lot of
honest-
people are
to be
pushing the
honest,
panic button.
the tough part is we ran home, so you know we didn't have any feathers or anything in the water. You know, we were judged.
Straight
so
line it?
we didn't. Yeah, we straight lined it home. But you know, as time goes here, there's going to be more and more coverage by the entire fleet. You know, it just so happened there was only a couple of us down there, 2 of us down there. So you know, with a couple boats down there, it's very easy to miss too. So you know, if you look at the odds, we know that Alejos may have been off temporarily.
Yeah.
You don't know
Right.
when those things are going to move in there, you know. But down on the ridge and on the inside, a lot of nice yellowtail fishing and big, you know, not giant, but 60 to 80 pound.
Those are
yellowtail.
nice.
Beautiful fish.
Did you have any bluefin mixed up with those, by the way?
There's a couple.
Yeah,
There's
right?
a couple, not much. So, you know, they're around too, but I think they're further north,
Yeah.
you know. So, yeah, you hang in there, guys. We got good fishing coming up, so.
I hear a voice out there, Mark Sonata. You know Mark, right?
Yeah.
Guess what he just got? His captain's license.
Oh, you're kidding.
Yeah. Isn't that great?
Did you get pictures of him flying in the water?
Not yet.
Oh, well,
you mean?
Oh,
well, he doesn't have.
Are you
Hey,
kidding?
that's a
He's
good
got this
idea,
license.
man.
That's part of the tradition. Is
Yeah,
throwing
you're
the guys
absolutely
in.
right, Dan. You want to push him in? I'll film. Hey, wait a minute. You're the, where
this
you going?
that would be a perfect ending, wouldn't it? Oh, he did. Too
He's
bad.
the executive producer here. So we're going to find out how good he really is because I'm going to ask him to walk up there and hit the X on there, and that's going to say goodbye. Before you do, though, Danny,
All right,
great
Phil.
show, my friend.
Oh, thank you,
Welcome
Phil.
back. Good to have you back.
See you, folks. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you, everybody. We'll see you in one more hour on Tackle Shop Confessions. Right there, your last chance to get in on a really huge raffle. For Danny Kadota, Phil Frieman, thank you so very much for being here. We'll see you next week right here
We'll see you
at 4
guys.
p.m.
All right, good show, everybody. That's a wrap.
I think he did it. Maybe.